We'll now solve a quadratic equation, x squared plus 4x equals 2. We're asked to give exact solutions and approximate solutions to 3 decimal places. When we solve a quadratic equation, we get a 0 on one side of the equation, so we will subtract 2 from both sides of the equation and check to see if it factors. In this case, this quadratic expression does not factor. So we'll use the quadratic formula. That formula says that x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a, where a is the coefficient of the x squared term, so a equals 1. B is the coefficient of the x term, so b equals 4. And c then equals negative 2. So substituting, we have x equals the opposite of 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 2 all over 2 times 1. Now let's simplify then. We have x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus negative 8, or 16 plus 8, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 24 over 2. Now, since 24 has a perfect square factor, we can simplify this expression. In fact, we can write x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 times 6 all over 2. And then we can take the square root of 4, which is 2, and simplify. Doing that, we have x equals negative 4 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 6 over 2. Now this can be further simplified. In order to do this, we have to be able to factor the numerator. Don't try to cancel if you can't factor. I can factor a 2 out of the negative 4. I can factor a 2 out of 2 times the square root of 6. So I can write this as x equals 2 times negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 6. You can check that factoring is correct by multiplying. And in the denominator, the 2 I can think of as 2 times 1. When I do this, I now have a factor of 2 in the numerator, a factor of 2 in the denominator. I can cancel. And I have the solutions x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 6. These are the exact solutions that were requested. The approximate solutions are found by approximating the square root of 6 using a calculator. For negative 2 minus the square root of 6, using a calculator, we would approximate that to be negative 4.449. Negative 2 plus the square root of 6, we approximate to be 0.449. And these are the approximate solutions that were requested.